Hello, and welcome back to Project Nihilum 0. Last time, one thing led to another, and now we've been sedated. The games are sooning... This is already a great start to a video. I can't words. Again. The games are starting much sooner than Oslok would like. Let's just get into it, and hope we don't die. That seems like a good idea. Yes? Maybe? Anyways, we've got the games apparently coming up already. Let's see if we manage to survive. You regain consciousness, your head pounding and your whole body freezing. Slowly you lift your head. The cell looks familiar, but you quickly realize that this cell is larger than the one you were kept in for isolation. In the corners of the room, close to the walls, you discover other people. They are wearing their typical expert clothing, just like you. None of them speak a word. Dazed, you gather your memories. Sullivan, the examination, the games. Just as you are about to approach one of the expert and ask questions, the door opens with a loud crash. A shrill alarm echoes through the corridors, causing everyone present to flinch. Suddenly, a loud hiss of gas escapes from the top of the wall opposite the door. The games have begun. The gas quickly fills the room so that no one wastes another second in the room. Running and staggering, the occupants flee out of the room. You too. The red lights above the cells flash wildly and briefly obscure your view. No time to gather your thoughts. More and more inmates storm out of their cells, bump into each other, and flee down the corridor. The gas pours out of the cell, forcing you to leave the corridor too. With a racing heart and clattering footsteps, you storm towards the brightly lit end of the corridor. A large arena expands in front of you. While you take a moment to regain your orientation, more people rush past you, pushing and shoving you aside so that you start to stagger. Then the first scream echoes through the arena. Out of the corner of your eye, you see blood splatter on one of the boxes. You are in the midst of a Battle Royale. The moment the doors opened was the start. Where? Your gaze fled hurriedly through the hall. Here and there you spot individual people cowering fearfully behind the grates, while others are frantically attacking other experts with all their might. You see teeth, claws, gaping wounds, severed body parts, all within minutes. Upstairs, behind thick panes of glass, you spot countless people in lab coats. But just as you're about to take a closer look at the faces, you and some of the other experts nearby are hurled towards the wall by a massive shockwave. You drop to the ground, holding your aching head. The lunatics released by the lab assistants show no mercy. Screams are getting louder and louder. Some people are already lying motionless on the floor. You stare silently at the misery. I'm gonna hide. Boxes get sent flying through the air, so you run as quickly as possible to a corner of the room with less chaos. Just in time, you take cover behind one of the crates as another box hits the ground with force just a few centimeters from you, chipping off a piece of the concrete floor. Thence, you crouch in your corner and make yourself as small as possible. Then your gaze wanders back up to the windows. Anger shoots through your body. I have to try. I have to summon my powers somehow, otherwise these crazy experts will kill me. The sounds of battle echo off the walls as you squeeze your eyes shut and press your hands over your ears to concentrate. Come on, please. No chance. Your destructive ability is not showing. With panic in your eyes, you peek out from behind your crate to get an overview of the situation. In the middle of the arena, you can see an expert tearing apart the other participants with claws and teeth. With swift, jerky movements, she keeps snatching up new victims. Pure madness flashes in her gaze. Another inmate leaps out into the shadows and towards her, grabs her by the head and slams her forcefully against one of the crates. The clawed expert screams out, raising her hands to the sky as if looking for help. A flash follows. Then the gravity suddenly reverses. Expert and crates begin to float, while the eye seems to draw power from the clawed expert. The sight makes your blood run cold. For a moment, everything remains motionless, while the eye stares at you insistently.
Run and be free.
Then a large shockwave follows, accompanied by a deafening bang. You are thrown against one of the walls and lose consciousness for a brief moment. Dazed, you get to your feet again. Smoke and fumes float through the arena. Many of the crates are shredded, stuck in the walls, or have even burst through them. Injured and dead everywhere. With a buzzing in your head, you climb over the motionless bodies, then your gaze wanders upwards to the windows. All gone. Suddenly, you look up and find yourself standing in front of a hole in one of the walls. Chunks of concrete and other rocks are scattered in the corridor behind it. You stare silently at the hole in the wall until you finally start to think again. What's the sign Delta promised? I must
run. You must run.
I know! And immediately you sprint off. Delta's voice is still with you as you rush through the corridors with a racing heart.
Left. Left. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
You follow her instructions, barely able to think clearly. But the further you go, the more indistinct and choppy her voice becomes in your head.
You are almost too far. Too far away. You have to find your own way.
Then the voice is gone. You stand still, pressing your hands to your head. Delta? Delta! No answer. You seem to be out of reach. Your gaze wanders hurriedly along the walls until you notice one of the countless labels and signs that you hadn't noticed before. Exit. Which way is the exit? Only now do you realize that you know this corridor and know how to get to certain rooms. We're getting out. We are getting out. You keep running, mostly straight ahead. Every now and then you have to turn left and right, but get back on course after the next junction. You keep looking out for the signs pointing you in the direction of the supposed exit. You have no choice but to hope that it is actually the real exit. With trembling legs, you sprint up a flight of stairs along the corridor and finally stand in front of a single door. Next to the door, you discover a pad with numbers and a scanner. Oh god. Okay, 1661? Shoot. Can I leave? No. Okay. Oh god, I don't know it. One? No? I don't know. Man, I just can't figure it out. I need to find a way. You quickly turn around again while your feet carry you down the corridors. Finally, you stop again, trying to figure out where to go. You know what? We're gonna try Charlotte's lab. Or office, whatever it said. Following your instinct, you sprint through the empty corridors. Right, stare straight ahead. Finally, you stop in front of the door you know. It's so quiet here that you think someone might come out of one of the dark corners of the room at any moment and surprise you. Your feet carry you across the room until you stop in front of a desk. Your eyes fall on the pen holder, especially the pen that Charlotte didn't want you to use. Let's see. You pick up the pen, which feels surprisingly heavy. Instinctively, you unscrew the front part and find a small, sharp scalpel blade underneath. Oh shit! I'm not taking that. Put it back. Shocked that Charlotte has such a thing, you drop the pen. You tear your thoughts away from Charlotte and concentrate instead on your current situation and leave the room. You keep to the left, turning again and again, but take care not to run in circles. You sprint hurriedly along the corridors until you finally stop. I know this door. With trembling hands, you open the door and step inside, and the door slams shut behind you. Sullivan's lab. But he's not here. Then your eyes fall on the desk you noticed when you first examined the room. With trembling hands, you kneel down in front of the table and try your luck. Alright, so I went looking back because I was editing the previous videos. I think I figured out the code. You skip through the notes trying to decipher anything at all. Checkup report, Gray 1661, November 2969. Also, the code was right! Oh, I knew it! Oh, I knew it whenever I saw it, because it was like, it's faded, like, it's more highlighted than the rest of the numbers. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? Anyways, you put your folder back down. noticing some more notes next to it. A file labeled Experiment Red 1111. A note stuck to the expert file. October checkup overdue. A post-it reading. Exit. Month. Year. Finally, you step back, going over the notes in your head once more. Then you leave the room. You're back in the corridor, still not knowing where to go. I want to quickly go back through that history real quick. Is it the year? Is it the year? October checkup overdue. It's gotta be either 1169 or 1069. It's gotta be something silly like that. You keep running, mostly straight ahead. Yada yada yada, we've already seen this. This is still the same. We already know it's the real exit, or at least what we think is the real exit. Anyways, there's the door. Alright, let's give this a try. 1060. There is no one. Alright, 1169. Oh my god, that worked. The door opens with a soft hiss. As if in a daze, you rush through, up the stairs behind it, further and further. You pass through door after door without any problems or bumping into people. You can feel it. The exit is near. Then you're at the top. The last door in front of you is open. You storm out into the dark night and don't stop running. You don't know how long you've been running, but when you finally come to a halt, every fiber of your body is burning like fire. Breathing heavily, you lean against one of the house walls. Sounds from the main road reach your ears in a distorted way, so that every passing car sends you into another state of panic. It takes you a long time to calm down enough to think about your next steps. You look around silently, not knowing where you are, and where you should go. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoes in your ears. With your heart pounding, you start to move around, your hands clenched into fists in fear. Who's there? Then a figure emerges from the shadows of the alley. Intimidated by the presence, you stagger backwards, fists still raised. Stay right there. Do you hear me? Apparently, we have gone down the bounty hunter's route. Okay. That's actually kind of surprising. I didn't think that would be the route I'd go down. But I guess this is what we're going with. Anyways, that's the end of Act 1. And then Act 2, it splits into the 3 routes. Because there's the laboratories. Oh, I can't remember the second one, but I'll put it up on the screen here so that I can show that. It's the one, like it said, the description was like about a found family or something like that. And then this third one, the bounty hunter. I'm really surprised, honestly, that I got this one. I didn't think this was going to be where I went, but we're going someplace. We're going somewhere with this. Anyways, until next time.